What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with another video. Today we're going to talk about the Portland Trail Blazers versus the Bellies. One thing I definitely want to say about this series is something that a lot of people are going to overlook. Certain people don't even think about this, but Damian Lillard was Rookie of the Year over AD. AD had a mediocre year, 13 and 8 I believe was his numbers. Damian Lillard was the standout guy, the most consistent guy out of that draft class. One Rookie of the Year. After that, he struggled to make the All-Star team while AD been making the All-Star team since his sophomore year. And obviously putting up 28 points a game back-to-back years and making the All-NBA first team and defensive team. So AD, then Damian, they got a little rivalry. Who wanted to be the best player out of the class? And even though neither one of them won All-Star MVPs or MVPs and stuff like that, it'd be pretty fun, series to see like we seen with Cam Newton, versus Von Miller, the 1 and 2 picks fighting each other for a championship, their first championship at that. I think that's a little thing that we underthink and we don't really realize though. But Portland has did their thing this year. I didn't expect them to be this good. Nobody really did because they've been so inconsistent. A lot of the time they did good enough in the beginning or not enough in the beginning. Then they end the season on a run and barely make the playoffs. That's a reason why he never really got the All-Star nods or the All-NBA nods that much, is because they just been so up and down. They've been good enough. And good enough is good enough to make the playoffs, but we never really feared them as a championship team. And that's the problem to me with the Blazers being 3 with no Kawhi Leonard, no DeMarcus Cousins, Jimmy Butler getting injured. They're not really a scary number 3 team. Obviously, I still think that they can compete with other teams because they've been competing for years, but they've been coming up empty-handed. Obviously, Damian Lillard is a veteran at this point. He has hit big shots in this regular season, and he has performed in the playoffs, even winning the series. He has advanced more than once. And he has a guy in CJ McCollum that can damn near shoot from anywhere. He can shoot the three, he can shoot off the dribble, shoot off screens, handle the ball, score the ball. And then you got Big Nurky, a guy that you can anchor your defense around. He does need to be a little bit better on the boards. He does need to polish up his offensive game still if they're going to be serious. Because like I told you guys a couple months ago, that at the end of the day, if they pay Nurkic that $100 million extension to stay with this Trailblazer team, this team only can go so high because they are a small market team. Plus, they paid Damian Lillard so much money, and they already gave C.J. McCollum $100 million also. This team ceiling can only go as much as how much these 3 guys improve, and if they can break through with a trade or hit somebody late in the draft that can turn into that 3 or that 4 that can really take this team to the next level, it's hard to really, give them that much credit. They took advantage of the opportunity. They won their games. They stayed consistent, and they was able to lock up that 3 seed. That's something I definitely got to give them credit for because we can always say, whoop, they got injured, whoop, this happened, whoop, that happened, but you still have to win games. And while they was losing games, the Portland Trailblazers, they got focused. They seen the eye on the prize. They seen the eye on home court advantage. They see being a top 3 seed. Damian Lillard took advantage of it. CJ and the rest of the crew followed them. Emperor was prepared to go to war, and they was able to do that and lock up that 3 seed. But it really has helped them this year because if you want to pull out of all teams in the West, you want to pull at least the Jazz and at least the Pelicans. Obviously, 1 through 8 is tough. Even if you go through 9 and 10 with the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets, none of those teams are really teams that you really want to play because of their offense and because of their star power. And the best thing that happened to them is no DeMarcus Cousins, but Anthony Davis is virtually unguardable. It is no defense for him. It's no particular way to play him. He can shoot, put the ball on the floor, dunk, lob, pick and roll, shoot the 3. He can do everything, and he is a defensive monster. His team never plays good defensively or great defensively, but he always been a great individual and help defender. And he also crashes the boards. But you do have to give credit to his teammates. Rajon Rondo has evolved this game. He's starting to score more. He's starting to shoot more. Is he having a 25-point season? No, but he's taking the shots more. And you have Drew Holiday, a guy that hasn't been healthy, has really hindered this team from hitting a full ceiling because he's been injured so much and he hasn't been able to stay healthy and get a consistent groove with this guy, with this team. And it's good to see him playing. to me, he deserves a lot of the credit for this team being successful because he's been going on good assists and scoring runs. Even though he's been playing with Rondo, he's still been a good off the ball scorer and a guy that, well, if he do have the ball, he can create shots for himself or his teammates. And he has really stepped up this season, and that's one of the biggest keys to why this team is where they at. And they was able to beat the Spurs to stay in that top six. But to me, this is gonna be a bloodbath. Neither team to me is. I feel like you can't go wrong with either team. Obviously, we really won't know until they play. Obviously, we really won't know until the series is over. But if we're going to predict, I think this matchup is about evenly as you can get. Role players are not really that good on either team. Star power, you got Damian, you have AD, you have a player like Holiday, you have a player like Rondo, you have Mirotic that can start or come off that bench. And to me, you have Nurkic, you have McCollum, and you have guys like Evan Turner and things like that can be X factors. Um, I think this is as balanced as a 3-6 can get. I don't really, to be honest, I don't even know who I would pick to win this series, but I have to do it. And I'm looking at this series, and I'm looking at the rosters, and I'm looking at the star power. And for the Blazers to be a 49-33 team, the Pelicans are only 48-34, and they won their last five. So they only separated by one win. That's how close these teams are when it comes to talent and when it comes to being in the playoffs. One game separates these teams, one loss and one tiebreaker. So if DeMarcus Cousins was playing, I would obviously pick the Pelicans. But since he's not, the role players are really going to have to step up, and that's something that had been helping them. The Pelicans, they were trying to find role players the last couple of years. They just couldn't find enough. And they finally started getting some NBA players and some guys that can really knock down shots and contribute. And at the end of the day, I like this. I like this Pelicans team. Going in the future, they're gonna have the same problem. Getting locked into DeMarcus and AD and Drew Holiday. But if at the end of the day, this is going to be Terry Stotts versus Alvin Gentry, and I would prefer, if I had to pick one of the coaches, Terry Stotts. He's been able to coach this team to a great defensive team. He was able to, get the best out of Damian Lillard while also allowing Damian Lillard to be himself and take those shots and feel confident in this offense. And he's really been riding Damian Lillard to help carry this team. And he's a guy that in the fourth quarter, just like the Pelicans, he can really make a difference hitting big shots and taking them and putting his teammates in positions to succeed. And Terry Stotts gets credit for that too. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a grind. I don't really think this is going to be a fast tempo series. I think this is going to literally be a battle, um, and it's going to be ugly. But I'm going to probably go with AD, and I know that's the upset, but I just feel like you have no way to stop this guy. And he is an unselfish superstar to the point where he can give you 20 and 10 like he did today, and y'all still can win because he picks his spots when to score, and he does rely a little bit on his teammates getting him baskets, but he also can get a basket anytime he really wants to. Also, Rondo is a solid defender. Is he going to be able to lock up Dame? Is he going to be able to stop him? No, but he's going to fight and put in effort, and they probably going to switch anyway, so you might not see a lot of one-on-one between those two anyway. And CJ, he can be a little hit or miss. He is one of the more efficient guards over the last couple years, but Drew Holiday is a 6'5" point guard, even though he's gonna be playing the two that can, use that length and that athleticism to give him trouble. And Nurkic, we don't really know what we're gonna get out of him because we don't know if AD is gonna play the five or he's gonna play the four. But Nurkic, he has to really take over this series. He has to really take over the glass, and they need that inside presence, to keep people from going into the paint and force them um, to score on the perimeter. And if they're able to do that, it can really tip inside and tip to Portland's favor. And if the game gets up and down and execution based, Terry Stotts to me is a better execution X and O coach to me, especially defensively too, than Alvin Gentry. But offensively, both teams can really hit you with a haymaker too. So this is a pick 'em. We don't know who gonna win. We don't know if it's gonna go 6. We don't know if it's gonna go 7. It can also be a sweep depending on who close out the games, who knocks down the big shots. It can be a close series to me, and either games can really go either way. But if I had to really pick, I'm gonna rock with AD. I know he never won a playoff game. I know that he never even came close to winning the playoff series. But when it comes down to it all, this is as even and as fair as a series as you can get. And I feel like the dominance. Remember when AD played against a team like the Warriors, he averaged 30 and 10 on over 50%. So he didn't even struggle, and that was playoffs. His first playoff experience against a championship, the champions that year. And I feel like when in doubt, I feel like Dame versus AD. I have to go to AD because he's a better two-way player. Plus, he affects the game in multiple ways than just scoring. And I feel like he's going to really try to put this team on his back with the help of Rondo, with the help of Mirotic, with the help of Holiday, and the other guys on this roster. And I think they'll be able to pull it out, honestly, in 6. And if I'm wrong, I don't really care because this series to me is as fair as you can get. Like I said, check out my website at NosisPlayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also, check out my Facebook page at NosisPlayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you think I'm sleeping on Dame. Let me know if you think Terry Stotts ain't that good, if Alvin Gentry overrated, because I hear that a lot. Or let me know that, hey, I'm just looking for a good series, and that's what I am too. I'm just looking to enjoy these series and enjoy these matchups and just see some great basketball. And this is one of them series where if you're not a fan, if you're just objective, nobody can really be wrong because we really don't know what's going to go on. And talent wise, is balanced.